Hey, it's great to see you guys back again here today. For those of you that are joining us for the first time online, we're excited that you have decided to join us today. Man, I'm Mike. I'm one of the pastors here at Ignite. And last week I threw you a curveball with a different kind of message. Well, the conversation that we had was not all that different, but the way that we presented it was. This week we're going to do the same thing as we continue to have this conversation about the vision of Ignite. As you can see, I'm headed to a different destination today, but it wouldn't be the start of an experience here at Ignite if we didn't start it out right. So come right back here and join me in 60 seconds as we start off with our opener. We are in the short series about the visions and values of Ignite. If you missed last week, you can always go check that out on our Facebook page or on our website, ignitechurch.tv. Now that I got my shameless plug in for our website, we can continue with our conversation today. And our conversation is about, well, what Ignite is all about. See, one of the things is this idea that we hold closest to us is this idea to know Jesus and to make him known. So how do you know Jesus? How do you start your relationship with him? And then how do you get to know him better? It's so much about communication with him. And the first of these is prayer. Just spending time talking to Jesus. Praying doesn't have to be difficult. It can be just about you having a conversation with him. Man, he loves you so much. He gave his life for you. Think about that. Who would you give your life for? Maybe your spouse or one of your children. If you have multiple children, now's the time you have to pick your favorite one. I'm just kidding. But think about that. How would you talk to them? Those people that you love enough to give your life for. You would just share everything with them. Share your whole day. The good, the bad, the ugly, so to say. Jesus wants to hear all of that. And I know that he already knows all of that, but he wants you to open those lines of communications. In Philippians 4:6, it says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God." Relationships are two ways. Communication is two ways. You have to speak, and more importantly, you have to listen. We can hear from God through prayer, but we can also hear from God through the words that he's left us in the Bible to read. There's so many stories in the Bible that do not only speak to the people that lived 2,000 years ago, but one thing that I have learned is through reading the Bible, that these things that people dealt with 2,000 years ago aren't all that different from what you and I are dealing with today. In Joshua 1:8, it reminds us, "Keep this book of the law always on your lips. Meditate on it day and night, so that you may be careful in everything written in it. Then you will be prosperous and successful." Sure, we have new challenges that they didn't have 2,000 years ago. Things like the internet and social media, text messaging. Man, we're in a world that's connected like never before. But the issues that we deal with are not all that different, even all these years later. But as you begin that communication with Jesus through prayer, through reading his word, you open up that opportunity in your life to allow life to be spoken into you. A life that you may not have ever had when you were living for the things of this world and the things that this world had to offer you. When you start to open up that conversation with Jesus, you start to hear those things that he wants for your life. You know, maybe God isn't talking to us through burning bushes these days, but that does not mean that he doesn't speak to us still. When you're open your heart and your mind and turn off the distractions and open the lines of communication. Listen to what he is speaking to you.
There is a promise that points beyond my failure. There is a still voice, silence all my peace. Even the worst of my mistakes are miracles in the making. Miracles in the making. By your stripes I am healed. With one touch I am made whole. You have spoken, and I know that it is so. In the storm you are peace, and your love won't let me go. You have spoken, and I know that it is so. In every season, your purpose is unchanging. In every moment, you're working for my good. Jesus, the rock that never fails. The kingdom will not be shaken. The kingdom will not be shaken. By your stripes I am healed. With one touch I am made whole. You have spoken, and I know that it is so. In the storm you are peace, and your love won't let me go. You have spoken, and I know that it is so. By your stripes I am healed. With one touch I am made whole. You have spoken, and I know that it is so. In the storm, you are peace, and your love won't let me go. You have spoken, and I know that it is so. You have spoken, and I know that it is so.
Your love will not let me go, Jesus. Man, as we finish up this conversation that we started last week, I want to talk about these elements that we believe are really a part of your journey with Christ, with an idea of your ultimate purpose to know Jesus and to make him known. I want to make it really clear. These aren't rules to Ignite. There's not certain rules or requirements that you have to do in order to attend here. That's not what Ignite is about at all. But we truly believe that as you start to follow Jesus, as you start to grow closer to him, as that relationship to develop, these are the steps that come across along the way to bring you even closer to him. You know, last week we talked about a couple of these ideas in authentic and relationships, and I want to finish this conversation out with talking about this idea of city and of serving and of giving. And as we start off today, I want to talk about this idea of city. You know, I believe that God has placed us right here in Neosho, Missouri for a reason and a purpose. Now, I'm not totally sure what that purpose is all the time. I'd love to tell you that God came to me in some vision. He spoke to me. He told me to go to Neosho, but it wasn't like that. But he put all the things in place for us to be here. This is a true story. You know, we were a few weeks away from having to leave the building that we were in, doing mobile church in each week. And we had this contract set up with the city of Neosho to have our experiences in this facility called the Civic. If you're from here, you've most likely heard of the Civic. But that's where we were every week. We were setting up church every Sunday morning. We were getting there early, cleaning the beer out of the carpets, having our experience, you know, and then tearing it all down every single week. Yeah, I don't want to sound like I'm ungrateful for that experience and that time at the Civic, because I'm not at all. It was perfect for us in that moment. There was a reason and a purpose that God put that in our place at that time. But I'm grateful that God did that, and I'm also grateful that God put somewhere else in our path. You see, Pastor Perry and I went and looked at this one building one Saturday, and it just wasn't right. It was a little bit out of our budget, and I said, there's another place right up the road I kind of want to look at. So we went down there, we looked at it, you know, we found out there was another church there, and the dream died. So here it is, Labor Day. We're 2 weeks away from not having a home, and I get a call from the owner of that building, the building that we're currently meeting in, and she told me something had changed, and there were spaces now available for us. And it was that moment I knew that God had a plan for Ignite in Neosho. I mean, I'd always known that he kept putting the pieces of the puzzle together for us to be here, but I just had to trust the placement and the purpose that he had. God has placed us here for a reason. He's placed you where you are for a reason, in that city that you're in. And it's for you to make a difference in your community. We believe that we're supposed to not only meet here together, but we need to make a difference in our city, make a difference in our community. We need to be reaching the lost, those people that don't know Jesus. I grew up in church. I mean, it doesn't mean that I've always been a follower of Jesus and always had a relationship with him, but I've always known of him. And sometimes it seems really odd to me, just because I grew up the way I did, that there are people out there, but there's so many, right even here in Neosho, that don't know Jesus, that don't even know of Jesus. And as a follower of Jesus, we are his disciples, much like the 12 that followed him here on earth. In Acts, it tells us, but you receive the power of the Holy Spirit, and it comes on you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem and in Judea and in Samaria and to the ends of the earth. Or if I give you a translation for our world, it says you receive the power when the Holy Spirit comes on you, and you will be my witnesses in Neosho, Anderson, Goodman, Joplin, Diamond, Newton County, McDonald County, and to the ends of the earth. We support our community in various ways, and one of them is by inviting people and welcoming them to be a part of our dysfunctional family right here at Ignite. But we support our city through inviting people, but we also support them through serving. See, we don't serve for our own glory. We don't serve so that we as individuals can get the reward, or even that Ignite can get the reward, or Ignite becomes known. But the heart of serving is so that God can get the praise and God can get the reward. In Hebrews 6:10, it describes this perfectly. It says, God is not unjust. He will not forget your work and the love that you have shown him as you have helped his people and continue to help them. When it comes to serving, there may be two different areas that we're really passionate about serving. The first is in our community. We love to serve out in the area as much as we can. There's a lot of ways that we try to do that regularly through things like Hope Kitchen and Serve Day and Neosho Day of Service. All of these opportunities, anytime we get the chance, we take advantage of one of these. And we have all these opportunities coming up this summer as well. So feel free to get in contact with somebody here at Ignite if you want more information about serving in those opportunities whenever they become available. And we love to give to the community that God has placed us in and join with other churches when we can to show the people of this area the love of Jesus through our acts of service. The second way that we serve is on Sunday mornings. Now I know Sunday mornings look a little bit different right now, but there's a couple things I want to remind you of. First, we will be meeting together again, and that's going to be really soon. So there's going to be serving opportunities directly on Sunday morning and all the things that happen around here because of the great people that give up their time. From teaching your kids about Jesus and Ignite Kids to the people that are running lights and sound and playing instruments on the stage, even just smiling, waving faces as you pull into the parking lot. There are opportunities to serve on Sunday, but there's opportunities outside of just Sunday morning as well too. Opportunities to prepare this place for Sunday morning. We need people to vacuum and clean windows and get notes printed and get this place ready for every one of us to come in there this week. There's opportunities with administration and all kinds of stuff. God has blessed each of us with different gifts, and we don't all have the same gift. In 1 Corinthians 12, it says there are different kind of gifts, but the same Spirit distributes them. There are different kinds of service, but the same Lord. There are different kinds of working, but in all of them, in everyone, it is the same God at work. See, what that's saying is the way that you can serve God is not the same way as someone else might be serving God. We all have different abilities to serve. My life changed a lot when I figured out that I was just not a consumer of these experiences each week, but that I was also put here by God to be a producer of our experiences at Ignite for other people. The last idea or element of Ignite that I wanted to talk about today is giving. Now, I stay away from this one a lot because I know that it gets kind of touchy, but before I want to talk about this, I want to make this perfectly clear. I'm not talking about this because I want your money. If you're giving to this church, or any church for that matter, because you feel guilt or obligation, man, you're giving for the wrong reasons. I'm not trying to guilt you into giving, but when you understand that we have nothing, we deserve nothing, and everything that we have is because of God, you become excited to give back to him. And I get it. I didn't always have this mentality. This was one of the hardest barriers for me to break. But I think that's why I'm so passionate about doing it now. You see, money was my master. I didn't grow up with a lot. We didn't have a lot. I might leave a 5 or a 10 tip here or there in the bucket, but I didn't have money to spare. I had this mentality of a fool and his money are soon parted. But it was when I really started to understand this idea that Jesus talks about in Matthew. Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moths and vermin destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. For where your treasure is, your heart will also be. No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate one and love the other, or you will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. When I thought I had given everything over to God, I realized that I hadn't, because I was still needing control of my money. When I finally gave up that control, I started to give my first, give my best 10% of what I gained. God started to multiply that in my life, and it didn't make sense to me. If I'm giving away 10% of my income, how do I have more money? But God has taken care of me and made the rest work in so many ways.
In the darkness we were waiting, without hope, without light, till from heaven you came running. There was mercy in your eyes to fulfill the law and prophets. To a virgin came the word, from a throne of endless glory to a cradle in the dirt. Praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Spirit, three in one. God of glory, majesty, praise forever to the King of Kings. To reveal the kingdom coming and to reconcile the lost, to redeem the whole creation. You did not despise the cross, for even in your suffering you saw to the other side, knowing this was our salvation. Jesus, for our sake you died. Praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Spirit, three in one. God of glory, majesty, praise forever to the King of Kings. On the morning that you rose, all of heaven held its breath, till the stone was moved for good, for the Lamb had conquered death. And the dead rose from their tombs, and the angels stood in awe, for the souls of all who come to the Father are restored. And the church of Christ was born. Then the Spirit lit the flame, and the gospel truth of old shall not kneel, shall not faint. In His blood and in His name, in His freedom I am free. For the love of Jesus Christ, who has resurrected me. Praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Spirit, three in one. God of glory, majesty, praise forever to the King of Kings. Forever to the King of Kings.
So that's it, guys. These ideas, these elements that make up Ignite: authentic, relationship, city, serving, and giving. Before we leave here today, I want to make something really clear again. And none of these things that we're talking about today are because we want these things from you, but only we talk about them because we want these for you. We're not looking for workers or free labor. You know, as you're taking your steps and following Jesus, it becomes about wanting to take that step. Sure, sometimes we need to be encouraged to move along, and that's why we do life together. But what I can say is that I have found true in my life is by completing these steps, by attending church regularly, that I planted my feet at a church where I feel like I can be myself, where other people are encouraged to be the same, by giving to the cause of the church with my time and with my money, and each one of these elements has drawn me closer to Jesus. I continue to get better at these all the time, and I continue to grow. as you're sitting wherever you are today, watching this online, maybe you can hear Jesus talking to you and telling you that you might need to move towards one of these steps. But we would love to be able to help you with that and even pray along with you as you're figuring out what this looks like in your life and in your walk with Jesus. And if you would like, you could send us a message on one of our social media platforms or go to ignitechurch.tv/connect and you can fill out the information right there. Right where it says, I'd like to talk to somebody about blank, you can tell us what you're wanting to work your next steps with. Or you can call the church, you can leave a message for Pastor Perry, myself, you can email us, whatever you would like to do. But we'd love to be a part of that journey with Jesus Christ in this world and you. Real quick before we head out today also, I just want to pray together as we close out our experience today online. And Jesus, I love you so much, Lord. Lord, I just am so thankful for the people that you have put in our life and this dysfunctional family, so to say, that we call Ignite, Lord. I pray with people as they hear this message today, if there are steps that they feel like you are calling them towards, they have the wisdom and the encouragement to begin to walk towards that. Lord, I pray this in your glorious name. Amen. Hey guys, man, I really miss hanging out with you. These have been fun experiences out here, but I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again in our building at Ignite. So hopefully we'll get to do that real soon. But until then, man, we will catch up here. Catch up with us on Connect Group on Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock. We would love to see you there as well, too. Guys, be safe, stay in, wash your hands, do all the social distancing we need to, man. And we love you guys, truly miss you guys. We are praying for you guys constantly, trying to stay connected the best we can. And we look forward to being in touch with you once again really soon.